Hello, darlings. I am Cassandra George Sturgis. Welcome to my channel, Authentic Beauty Handmade Dolls and Crafts. In this video, I am going to show you how to make a tutu mermaid fin for your sock doll. Thank you so much for watching. In order to make the mermaid fin for your sock doll, you're going to need tulle, at least 4 different colors. Tulle is very expensive. I purchased it from Joann's for about $1.99 or less. And what you're going to do is cut it into strips. Now, I'm not a big person who likes to measure things, unfortunately. So I would just say cut it into the strips based on whatever size your sock doll is. And because this is a small project, you don't really need a lot of them. So what I like to do is, as you can see here in the video, cut it into strips. And then after I finish cutting all of my different colors, I go ahead and I alternate them when I am placing them on at the bottom of my sock doll mermaid's tail. Now that I have cut several strips of each color of the tulle for my mermaid fins, I am going to go ahead and prepare to put them at the bottom of my sock doll mermaid. I am going to attach the tulle strips to a piece of elastic ruffle, the same ruffle that I used around the top portion of her bikini top. Now I try to slow the video down in slow motion so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So basically what I'm doing is taking one strip and I'm putting it into a loop, into the shape of a loop. And I'm going to place that loop next to the strip of elastic. And then I'm going to take the bottom portion of the strip that doesn't have the loop, and I'm going to literally take those 2 ends and stick it through the top portion and pull it gently onto the elastic ruffle. Now you're going to do this repeatedly until you feel the entire strip of elastic ruffle for the bottom of your mermaid tail. Now you should probably measure the elastic ruffle before you begin adding the tulle strips to the bottom. And you should push them closely together so that the mermaid fins are really nice and fluffy. There are so many different ways to make the fins for your mermaid doll. Like for example, you could just draw out the shape of the fin and then you could stuff it and then you could sew on top of it to give it a little bit more detail. I have done that for several of my other dolls, but I like using this method when I plan to do any type of stop motion, because when you fluff the fins and then take a picture, fluff the fins and take a picture, it just looks so much fun. Yeah, does this sound right? I like the way it looks. Adding the tulle strips to the mermaid tail is so much fun. It is literally addictive, okay? I promise you, you're going to have such a good time that you're going to be thinking, oh my God, what else can I add these little nice fluffy tulle strips to? Once I have attached all of the tulle strips to the bottom of the elastic ruffle, I like to comb through it gently with my fingers. And once you comb through it gently with your fingers, you're going to go ahead and cut it with your scissors to make sure they're kind of even. I am now going to attach the bottom fin to the bottom of the mermaid tail using a ladder stitch. And I think I used the same needle that I use to weave in her hair, because it's much easier if you use I don't know what people call it, a weaving needle, but this needle makes it a lot easier. And the fabric that I use to make the mermaid tail is very firm, and the elastic with the tulle is very firm as well. So you want a needle that, you know, can get in there and go easily through both different textures of fabric. You may also use hot glue to attach the fin to the bottom of the mermaid tail as well, and fabric glue. Fabric glue takes a little bit longer to dry, so you won't be able to move it, but I would use a low setting hot glue gun and it goes on just perfectly. Now, if you're like me and you plan on playing around with your mermaid tail, then I would suggest that you sew it on, because sometimes hot glue over time will start to pull away from whatever surface that it is attached to. You know that Christopher Columbus claimed to have seen a mermaid in his writings. Historians today believe that it was a manatee, or what they call a sea cow. Once I finish sewing on the fins to the mermaid tail, I cut the excess ruffle elastic off the sides. And the reason I chose to sew it was because I knew I was going to play around with it doing stop motion, and I wanted to fluff it and move the tail a lot. And sometimes hot glue, if you hot glue it, it will come apart. In order to make the trim for the bottom of her bikini top, you're going to take your 4 different colors of tulle and you're going to twist it together. And together the blend is so shimmery and so beautiful. I don't think my camera is picking up how beautiful this is, but it is really beautiful. So you're going to just twist it around gently together. And then you're going to ladder stitch it to the bottom of her bikini top. If I were to make a mermaid sock doll again, I would take this trim and I would sew it around the top of her bikini top, because I think it would look a lot more attractive. But this is just 20/20 hindsight. I do love it, and I just love how it looks like fins, and it has that fantasy look. So once I create enough tulle to go around, to trim around the bottom of her bikini top, I am taking 4 pieces of the tulle, the different colors, and I'm creating a loop in the center. And I'm going to loop the bottom portion in through the top portion of the loop, just like we did to create the fins for the bottom of her mermaid tail. And then I'm going to cut it, and this is going to accent her bikini top right in the center. So now I'm going to go ahead and ladder stitch the tool at the bottom of her bikini top, and once I finish sewing everything in place, I'm going to trim the ends so that they are even and to the length that I think is, you know, attractive and fun. I use pins to hold the tool in place so that while I'm sewing, you know, nothing will fall apart, or so that the twist will remain in place. And it just makes it a lot easier if you use the pins. And because it is a cloth doll, and make sure you use gentle pins, I'm just sticking it, you know, inside of the doll, of the fabric of the doll. But I would be very careful and make sure you don't use pins that are too big, or, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to snag her at this point. Oh my God, I am so in love with her. And it's so funny to me that I know that her tutorial is ending and she's going to join my other cloth dolls, fabric dolls, and she's going to, you know, she'll be around, and we'll see her maybe, like I said, if I have a doll party, or sometimes when I'm doing stop motion, or sometimes I'm just doing something fun with a photo shoot and I'll pull a doll into the photo shoot. But I always feel a little sad because when I'm making the doll, there's like this really, you know, there's a relationship, like we're friends, you know what I mean? Like you know, you're talking to her, you're thinking about her, she's communicating with you, and when you finish making her, then, you know, you still see her, but you miss her. Like I'll look at some of the other dolls that I've made, like the Shaka dolls, or the rag dolls that I made on this channel, and I'm just thinking, like, I'll see them and I'm like, oh, I miss you, you know. It's very important to make sure that the center piece is in the very center of her bikini top. I mean, other than that, everything else is going to be fine, but you don't want that part to, you know, be over to the side. And so typically I would start with that part, but I think even though I pinned it in the center, I think if I was to do it again, like my old personality, when I say old personality, there's a part of me that is, I don't want to make a mistake and I don't want to start over. I would have started in the middle. To make the mermaid doll look more polished, I should have cut the elastic in the back and used some hooks so that I could hook the bikini top together, or I could have sewn on some Velcro, but I just simply tied it and tucked it, which really doesn't look professional. But, you know, forgive me for this one. I call these little accents the ooh la la, and I feel like the ooh la la is what gives a doll like a little bit more personality, a little bit of pop of color, a little bit more jazzing up her style. And you can add whatever you want to the trim of your bikini, and even at the top of where her mermaid tail meets the bottom of her navel, that is also a place where a lot of people decorate. You could also put like a little jewel in her belly button, like a little gemstone. That would be very pretty as well. After I finish sewing the tulle trim for the bottom of her bikini top, I am going to take both of the pieces together on each side and measure them against each other, and then I'm going to cut them so that they're even. And this is going to be her like her little side fins, or her, you know, little decoration And I think it's really fun, especially when I do like stop motion. It just, when you have more to move around, it just makes the video look more interesting, as well as the doll. I know there's a doll inside of you who is just dying to come to life, but only you can breathe life into her. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.